Hello and good morning. This is Rob at Campus Contact, and this is our high-level overview training of the new Campus Contact website system. And so I'm going to take you on a tour and show you how the whole new system works from a high-level overview. And then we're going to have a follow-up this afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, where we're going to dive in a little bit deeper, and we're going to add columns and rows and content and do all the design and fun stuff and show you really more about how to manage content within your website. So just in case you're not familiar, campuscontact.com is where you need to go to access us. And from there, you can actually access our support by clicking on the support link. And there at support, you can search our knowledge base regarding the website, where you'll see a lot of information that I'm not going to be able to cover today. But you'll see a tremendous amount of documentation in here available for you, as well as you can contact us by just asking any questions you have, which you can also do by clicking on the little blue chat bubble here at the bottom left and get a hold of us live anytime 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time. So we're there for you, live chat. We can also do a remote support to your computer. So if you're seeing something kind of weird on your end, we can actually remote into your computer and see what's going on with your assistance, of course, and help you that way. Or you can submit a trouble ticket to us if you're having some kind of other issue that needs attention. So there's lots of ways for you to get a hold of us, and we welcome you to do that. Now, this training class and all others are always uploaded to the website, and you can get to all training classes by mousing over at the support page. Click on full training classes, and you'll see, of course, last week's training and other previous training. Soon there will be actual website or widget-specific training. Right now, there's just kind of an overview. And there's also teacher website training videos as well available for you. So just click on the training type that you'd like, and that information is made available to you. This class, like I said, will also be uploaded to the full training class page later this morning. So let's dive right into the website and jump in. So your new websites do not have a login link at the bottom like the old school desk websites used to. Instead, we've removed that because too many people were just trying to hack, or not hack, but access the website when they shouldn't have been able to. And so we now have it so that instead of a link at the bottom of the website, you now have to go to admin.campuscontact.com to log into the website. So you're going to want to remember that URL, write it down, do something. When you were added to the website, in fact, when your user was created for you to access the website, you should have received an email from campuscontact.com with a link that will take you to here so you can log in. But just remember, anytime you're going to log in or admin your website, you need to go to admin.campuscontact.com, and from there you'll be able to log in. So I'm going to log in with my demo account. And when I log in, I'm taken to my new dashboard. And this is pretty cool because when you log in, if you have management over multiple sites, you'll see all of them in this dashboard in one space, one place. They'll all be listed down here below, and you can just quickly jump to any of them without having to re-log in. And it even shows you a little thumbnail view of what that website looks like. So your dashboard does have a lot of other nice things in it. We'll start at the top. Of course, if you have multiple sites, you'll see them all listed here. But there's also a stats button at the very top, and the stats can be accessed multiple places, which I'll show you throughout this training class. But it's kind of like Google Analytics, where you can see all kinds of analytical information about your website and the traffic and visitors who have come to your website. So you can see a lot of information about that from here. You can see yesterday's traffic or week traffic or month traffic or any specific date range that you want to see. Now, this being a training site, there's not actually any traffic because it's not a public site. But if it were, there would be a lot of information here for you to see things such as the traffic sources, different locations where they're coming from, types of browsers and operating systems, as well as just the general flow of traffic of page visits and page hits and just general traffic information that you'd want to know. So you get that right here clicking on stats at the top of your site. There's also a way to get to that on the right-hand side. Looks like things have changed a little bit. That's interesting. So I'll show you other places to access the stats as well. Next to that is your account information. And if you mouse over your name, your email address. You can change your first name, last name, email address, and your password here. And there's also the ability to change the language of the website system. Now, this is inside the website, not the actual site that the general public will see. But for you as an administrator working in the website, if you're more familiar or more comfortable working in a different language, you can actually change the entire website language on the inside for yourself so that you can work in whatever language you're most comfortable. So you can do that there. And you can also sign out here. Now, you do need to sign out. And this is very important. You're going to need to make sure that you sign out of your website every time you're finished with it, because it will not automatically log you out. That means if you're in your classroom and you're logged into your website and you're doing something with it, you walk away from it, it's the same as leaving your purse wide open right there on the desk, because it means anybody else can come in here and manage your website for you, and it generally won't be in a good way. So you are responsible for your website as well as what's posted on your website. So if you don't log out, you left the keys on the table, it's going to come back to you as the person who somebody else logged in and did something. So make sure that you sign out whenever you're finished, so that, you know, for website security, obviously. So let's go back to our dashboard and look at all of our sites here. Of course, again, if you're a manager or administrator over only one site, you'll only see that one site like I do here, and you can click on it to jump in and edit it, or you can click on the edit button on the right-hand side and go in and edit it there as well. You also have a preview option that allows you to preview the website in different devices, and this allows you to see it in a desktop view, a tablet view, or even a mobile view, and you can click on any of them to see the different options as well. So it's nice just to be able to see them in different options. You can see it on Apple and Android, rotate it as you see fit, so whatever, it just allows you to see it in the different views. So that's the preview function. To the right of that, again, is another link to the stats, the same as it was above, just in a different location. And to the right of that is a little hamburger menu that allows you to quickly manage any posts in your blog. And a blog is awesome. So if you're looking to do a blog, or a principal or a superintendent or whoever else wants to do a blog, you can do that. And it's a great blog and super easy to see. In fact, if you haven't seen ours, go to campuscontact.com/blog and check it out, or subscribe to it. So it's a really nice blog. And yes, I'm the one who writes to it. So it is a very good blog. Also, under this little hamburger menu, you can manage your store. If you weren't aware of it, your new website comes with a store, a full-blown e-commerce platform where you can have your own school store, and you can sell whatever it is your folks might be selling for fundraising. If it's band candy or wrapping paper, candles, or whatever, you can actually have all that information on a store within your website, and now your kids can sell to grandma in California or wherever it may be. And you know, it's a full-blown store. It utilizes the Google Gateway, or the Google Pay Gateway, as well as PayPal for multiple ways of collecting that payment as things are sold to the store. So it's a full-blown e-commerce platform. So it's not just some little chintzy little thing. It's a very nice store that you can create. Below that are form responses. And what's really great about this new system in terms of forms is that all of your forms are aggregated into one central location. So if you've got 25 forms throughout your website, you don't have to go to 25 different places to see the results of them all. Click on form responses and you'll see them all pulled in one single location. Now, again, this being just a training site, there are no form responses. We should really do that. But any forms that you'll see on yours, you'll see them all listed out here, all the different forms and all the different form responses just aggregated into one single location. So that's a really nice tool. So you don't have to jump all over the place to find your different forms. So let's dive right in and take a look at a website. To do that, you can either click on the little thumbnail picture on the left, or you can click on edit to the right. It doesn't matter, they both go to the same place. I'll just click edit, and now we'll be jumped into our website. From here, I am now in the website, and I can tell I'm logged in because I see this black bar across the top, and I see this white bar down the left-hand side, and those are the primary things I'm going to cover this morning, just where everything is and what it does and how to access stuff. So let's take a look at the top left-hand corner here. This little drop-down allows you to quickly jump to any page in your website just by hitting little drop down. You can also do that, of course, by clicking on the page, directly on the navigation, but it's just another way for you to access any pages in your website real quickly and easily. Some people like that because if you have pages that are hidden from your navigation, instead of being shown in your navigation, you can actually get to that stuff directly from this little drop down as just an alternative. So you also have these view options that I showed you a minute ago in your dashboard, where you can click on the tablet or the mobile device. And my internet is locked up again. Let me try this again. I apologize. I do have Comcast, and it is being a nightmare today. So we can also change the views, so we can see our website in mobile, tablet, or full desktop view, just so you can see how it's going to look on the different devices, the same as you did from your dashboard earlier. To the right, we have a quick search function, and this is pretty neat. If you just type anything, or if you want to say add something, you can see a lot of documentation. It just quick links jumps you over to some documentation within the website, so you can see how to add stuff. If you want to type in forms, for example, contact form, you can click it and see some information. You can add a form, or you can quickly jump over to see some documentation on the right-hand side about whatever it is that you're trying to do. So there's a lot of built-in help and documentation, so you don't even have to jump out to another website. Just click the little magnifying glass at the top and type add, or type whatever it is, type anything, and it'll just pop right up. So there are a lot of different shortcuts to find things there. So that's a pretty nice little tool. To the right of that is an info and tools option. And we click on that, we'll have a few options where we can see the current name of the site name. And this is something we can change for you, or if you're a district administrator or have the proper rights and permissions to do so, you can change this on your own, so that you can set the URL of your website to whatever you want, instead of being a campuscontact.com URL. So we can change that for you. And of course, below that, we can see that the site is published. To the left of that, we've got a preview option that allows you to share with other people how the website's going to look even before you actually publish it and make the changes viewable by the public. So if you want to share a link before you publish a page, maybe you want to just say, hey, here's how my website's going to look. Are you good with the changes I make? Just paste that in here, and you can paste it in an email, copy it, whatever, and then other people can click it and see it. Now, this is not a live link. This is actually a preview of the changes that you've made on your site that people can see before it goes live. And we'll talk about publishing in just a minute. Below that, we have another link, the third link to stats. So lots of ways to get to your stats. In the dashboard, there's 2 ways. Here in the site, there's 1 way. So no excuse for you not to access your stats. In fact, there's even a 4th way that I can show you later. So lots of ways to access your stats. Again, we also have another way to change your editor language. So we can put this inside the website itself, again, so that you can change the language of the editor. Again, this is not the website language. We do have Google Translate as an option for you to add to your website, but that's going to be for the general public to see. So this option would be for you as the editor to change the language of the website to whatever language you're most comfortable viewing. To the right of that is a little check mark, and you'll see that this check mark will change from a check mark to 3 little dots as content is automatically being saved while you're adding it to the website. So it's really cool that everything is auto-saved. So if you're adding something to the website and you have to run out real quick before you have a chance to do anything else, don't worry about it. It's all saved. As soon as you click anything, it's instantly saved. So it's all right there. Now, an interesting thing to note, and super important for you to know, is that although everything is automatically saved, it is not automatically published. And that's going to be super important for you 2 buttons down. So I'll get to that in just a minute. So remember, the difference between saving and publishing are very different, and we'll talk about that in a second. To the right of that option are the undo and redo options. So if you make a change, don't worry, and you mess something up, you can just hit the undo button and roll it back. And you can actually go back 100 steps, which is a little bit excessive, but you can go back 100 moves. If you've made a mistake, undo it 100 steps backwards. And there may be more. We actually just stopped counting at 100. But it's really nice that you can undo any changes that you've made and just click the undo. Or if you've gone back too far, click the redo and it'll bring you forward. in the steps that you've changed. So undo and redo are really nice. You've got a preview option to the right of that, which allows you to see the site, how it's going to look for the general public. And that's going to become really important for when you're editing something on your site and you want to see how it looks. You can simply click the preview button and you'll see it hides that bar on the left, expands the website a little bit, and allows you to click on things without the site thinking you're going to go in to edit something. When you're in edit mode, for example, these icons at the right, if I click on them, it thinks I want to edit it, and maybe we just want to test it. So to test it, we have to actually go into preview mode, and then if I click on it, it will function as it should. While I'm in edit mode, it thinks I want to change or edit something, and so it's not actually going to work right. So you might find yourself switching back and forth from edit mode to preview mode quite often, which I do as well. And it just allows you to fully test functionality of buttons and links and things without the system thinking you're going to try to edit something. To the right of that is probably your most important button, and that is your republish button. Because if you don't publish the content that you just saved or republish it, then the general public's not going to see those changes. So it's really important that you republish your content when you're finished working on the page or the site in general, so that those changes that you've made are then pushed out for the rest of the world to see. While everything is auto-saved, meaning that it's not going to be deleted if you walk away, even if your browser closed or you lost power, it's going to automatically save everything you do. It is not going to republish your content, which means that you can make a whole bunch of changes in here and add photos and pictures and pages and videos and whatever you want, but until you hit publish or republish, it's not going to be seen by the rest of the world. So if you log out and you walk away and you say, oh, all my stuff is gone, I'm looking at the website and it's not there. Yeah, it's there. It's all auto-saved, but you didn't hit the republish button to push it live for the rest of the world to see. So the great thing about this is that it allows you to make a lot of changes, add all kinds of stuff, and do whatever you want in the website, but the public's not seeing you work on it. They're only going to see your finished product when you hit the republish button, and it's going to then push those changes that you've made out to the live site. So it's kind of like an FTP upload or however you want to think of it, but it's automatically being saved by the system internally, but it's not being seen by the public until you hit that republish button. So that's going to be extremely important for you to remember, so that you just get in the habit of hitting republish when you're finished, let it send all that information out live, and then it's viewed by the public. So to the right of that, we have another little link to the help site. This is the same link that we showed you earlier from campuscontact.com/support, where you can click on the support link and then click on the knowledge base, and it takes you to the same place. So just know that it's just another way to get to the help information that you might need from directly within your website. So that's your last little help. And finally, to the right of that is your little back to the dashboard home button, which will take you back to where you can log out of your website, mouse over your name and click sign out, or jump to a different web site that you're working on, or whatever else you need to do here. So that's just your home to your dashboard button at the far right. So those are all the options at the very top of your new site while you're logged in. Let's talk about some of these options on the left-hand side, because there's a lot of stuff over here. And you as a site administrator have access to everything within the site. However, this very top one, and this is going to be important, this very top one I'm not going to cover. And I don't want you to do it either. Don't want you to touch it unless you're specifically instructed to do so by us or somebody at your tech department. While this button is viewable and accessible by you, we don't want you to make any changes. This is where we, as the web hosting company, come in and make some design changes and configurations for your websites. And this is absolutely where you can come in and break some stuff and make a mess of things, and we'll have to roll your site back to restore it. And we just don't want to have to do that. So don't mess with the design button, please. While you certainly do have the ability to get in there and poke around and make some changes, we'd really, really recommend that you don't. So I'm not going to show it to you. I'm just going to plead with you not to poke around in there. Just leave it alone. That's for us, and that's what we've done for you. And the rest of the stuff you can play with as you see fit. You can't break it unless you poke around in the design area and make things ugly, and then you need us to come in and fix it. If we do have to come back in and fix it, we're going to roll it back to a previous version. So if you've made a bunch of changes, you're going to lose all those changes. So we don't want you to do that. So instead, just leave the design button alone, leave the design to us, and you can do everything else. So enough of that. Leave it alone. Smack your hand. Instead, we're going to go down to the Pages button, and this is your page manager where you can access and manage all of the pages within your website. And if you're from the old School Desk websites, and you've seen the page manager before, but it was in a different manner, now it's right here within your website, and you can access all your pages in a list here. You can click on any of them, and it'll jump you right to them on the right-hand side. Or if you look to the right of any page, you'll see there's a little gear icon. And if you click on that little gear, it allows you to rename the page, hide pages, we can duplicate them, we can manage SEO, we can even set passwords for them all if we want password protected pages. So let's cover some of these things. If you want to rename your page, just click on rename and say, instead of home, we can say school home or whatever you want to rename it as. I'm just going to leave it as home and just cancel it. Just know that you can rename your page whatever you want it to be. And this is the name that's going to show up in your navigation, actually in your bar across your site or on the left-hand side or wherever your navigation is. This is what people are going to see to click on. And I really urge you to keep that name short and sweet instead of something really long. In fact, if you look in ours, an example of a bad name is school calendar. Obviously, you're a school. And if you have a calendar, we know it's a school calendar. So all you really need to put is school. I'm sorry, it's calendar. And calendar is good enough. We know it's a school calendar because we're on a school website and it's a calendar, hence that makes it a school calendar. You don't have to put really long names in your page names because most of it's pretty intuitive and you can figure it out. But it also will make your navigation really, really long. And in some cases, even drop it down to a second row, which makes it look ugly. Which, let me show you again. If I go back in and rename this school calendar, you'll see it made that button so wide that it actually pushed videos down to a second row, which looks kind of ugly and actually kind of broken. It just looks bad. And it's because you only have a limited amount of space horizontally before you run out of room on your website. And you're going to run out of even more room more quickly on really old browsers or people with really low resolution on the devices. So we really want to try to keep things short and sweet. If I change school calendar back to just calendar, you'll see it resolves that problem, pulls everything back up nice and neat because now it's not quite as long, and problem resolved, and it just looks so much better. So make sure that you name your pages something nice and sweet and something short so that it makes more sense. Look at some of the other options. We can even hide options in navigation, and I'm not going to do the home page, but I'm going to pick another page. This allows you to hide a page maybe that's not ready to be seen by folks, or maybe it's a seasonal page. Maybe you're going to do an SAT prep page or a holiday message or something like that. You can hide the information, hide pages directly in your website so that people can't access it as you see fit. Or maybe you're going to make a really big, heavy page that's just got too much information for mobile devices. Or maybe you want to do a mobile push and you want to hide it on others, maybe doing a big promotion. Check out our website on mobile devices and maybe show something specifically only for mobile or only for tablets or only for desktops. You can do that as you see fit here by hide in navigation and selecting the one you want to hide, and then it's no longer seen. So for example, if I click on hide on tablet, the calendar page, and then I jump over to my tablet view, calendar is not seen because I hid that in the navigation on calendar. On tablet. It will be seen on mobile and it will be seen on desktop, but I hid it from the tablet view. And you can even see that there's a little icon that shows you where it's been hidden on a specific device. I apologize for all the background noise there. I have a new phone that I have not figured out how to silence yet. So let's unhide it here, and now it's going to be shown on the tablet, and now everyone can access it again, regardless of what device they're coming in on to see it. So below that, we even have an option to duplicate pages. And when you duplicate a page, it duplicates everything that's on that page, as well as the page name and all the page settings and stuff. So you can copy pages as you need. If you built out a really cool page and maybe you're going to use it for different departments and you want some uniformity and standardized design, you can create one page just the way you want it, duplicate it, and use it as many times as you want. You can also manage the page URL. And if we click on page URL, that's the path or what people are going to type in the browser, what they're going to see in the browser if they click on a page, which really helps you from a promotional standpoint. If you're going to have an HR page and you want people to go to your school name /HR, you can make that page URL HR or whatever you want it to be. And that's what people would see when they go visit your page. So it's really nice that it's easily customized just by clicking on page URL. Below that, you can also manage the SEO, or we can hide your website completely from search engines by just clicking on this button here. Now it will not be seen or crawled by the search engines. Where that comes in handy is if you've got information that's I apologize again. If you've got information on your site that is not going to be visible by the general public, or you don't want it to be visible by the general public, you can hide it from the search engines as well as the general public, and that way nobody can see it. So sorry, I'm just going to turn all of this off. I'm so sorry. I have the new iPhone 11 and I can't figure out how to shut it off, so make it quiet. So I apologize for the interruption. Page title is what's going to be seen in your browser URL when people click on your specific page or your website. So it's going to be important that you give your pages a title and even a page description below that. Page title and page description are helpful for search engines and search engine optimization, or SEO, so that people can find your website and find certain pages within your website. So it's going to be important that as you create a page, give it a page title, give it a page description, just something short and sweet, so that it will be found in the search engines and work better for you from an SEO standpoint. You do not have to do page keywords. That's kind of optional now. Most search engines have kind of bypassed that, and they're ignoring that now. So it's really not something that search engines even consider in search engine results. So I would just skip past that altogether. Below that, you can now also set a password for your page. So if you're going to have a page just for teachers or just for parents or whatever it may be, you can hide that and create a password hidden to hide that, and just send them that password, and they can then log in to see that page. Below that, there's actually a header HTML function, which is not something that you're going to need very often. That's for things like if you're working with Google and Google needs to verify site ownership, they'll send you a little code and say, you know, put this little code in your website to verify site ownership. You can go to your home page, paste it in the header HTML, and Google will then crawl the page and go, yep, I see it, that's you. And that's how you verify site ownership. There are some other little things you can add to the header HTML, but for most folks, it's not something you're going to need or use, so you won't need that. So that's all the stuff that's in your page settings. And again, you get to those by clicking on the little gear to the right of any page and get an SEO or a password or duplicate, or even delete if you need to delete a page. You cannot delete your home page anymore. That was an issue with our old system. And believe it or not, we did have people who deleted their home page and then their entire site was inaccessible. We did have ways of restoring it, but now it's not even a problem because you can't delete your home page. So any page that you set as your home page, you can't do that anymore. So it's nice to have that little safety net built in there now. So these are your pages. And those are your page settings. Another great thing we can do with our pages is we can reorder and restructure our website any way we want by just clicking and dragging our pages into the order that we want. Easily just drag and move them around into whatever order you want. So if you want to put your pages in alphabetical order, just grab them and shuffle them around. And in just a couple of seconds here, I can put my entire site in alphabetical order. There we are. Now we're in alphabetical order. And it literally would take you just a few seconds. And you can see those changes are instantly reflected on the right-hand side. And there's nothing else you need to do. The page never refreshes, never has to reload or anything like that. It all just happens instantly. And yes, it's all automatically saved at the very top. Again, it is not automatically republished, so the general public's not going to see these changes until I hit the republish button and push it out. This is what publishing looks like. It takes about 5 seconds here, and it's going to then push all that content and changes back out to the public. Congratulations, it is published, and you can go see it by clicking on the link here if you want, or you can manage that URL. But if you just click it, it takes you to the live website. This is what you can see right now if you go to training.campuscontact.com and you see the live website. Don't bother though, because we're going to delete a lot of stuff and we're going to make some changes, and this site is continually changing. So let's go back to our pages and do a little cleanup so we can get ready for some other stuff later down the road here. And keep in mind, again, there is also additional training this afternoon where we're going to do a deeper dive into managing the different types of pages and just a lot more information. So let's talk about adding pages. To add a page, you simply click on the New Page button. Right here at the top, the big blue button says New Page. To add a new page, you click on plus New Page, add a new page. And now we have the option to add a page. And there's really 3 types of pages that you're going to be adding most often. That would be a blank page, which is just that, a blank slate for you to start building on, or a page URL, maybe a page that links out to another website. So if you're going to link out to PowerSchool or some other website, you can add a page URL, and it will then link out to another website. And the third that you'll use most often will be what we call a folder page. And that really is like a placeholder page. It's not a page you can click on to see information, but it's a page that holds information for other pages. For example, a departments page. In my example here, I've got departments at the top, and under that is athletics, band, and ROTC. But if you try to click on the departments page, it's not actually an accessible page because there's nothing to see there. But it's a placeholder or a folder page that is the folder header for all of these other pages that you can then click on to access as you need. So it's not a clickable, usable page, but it's just a placeholder that you can put other pages under. So those are the 3 primary kinds of pages that you'll add: a blank page, a page URL, or a folder page. However, we've also got some other really cool things. We now have some templated pages that you can put out with all kinds of beautiful content and information on them, and simply go in and change the photos and change the verbiage and make it your own and do whatever you'd like with it. It's super easy to do that. So if you're going to create an About Us page, all you have to do is click the About Us template. You can give it a different name if you want, or just leave it as it is. Click Add That Page, and in a couple of seconds, you have a brand new About Us page with some photos and some text and some effects sliding around and all kinds of cool stuff, and a lot of About Us stuff. You don't have to keep any of this information, or you can delete it or modify it. But to make it your own, simply click on it and change it as you need. Maybe we'll put a bus on there instead. And now we can change the words and say about our school system, whatever it is you want to put. We can do a lot of different things from a styling standpoint. So really all you have to do is come in and modify it and do whatever it is you want to do with it. And you can now take one of our beautiful templates and in just a few minutes make a really awesome page that's all your own, built from one of our existing templates. So it's really nice to be able to add new pages using some of these templates. And I encourage you to go play with some of these templates, and you might find that it's a nice way to build some websites. Now we also have templated content that we call sections that we'll show you in this afternoon's class, where you can build your entire website and make it look phenomenal and never add just a single widget to your or module to your page anymore. You can add complete beautiful sections and your site can look amazing. So we'll talk about sections later today as well. But that's pretty much it for managing your pages. You'll also see that to the right is an option for pop-ups, and we're not going to talk about pop-ups today. It's not something most folks will use, but you can do lots of different pop-up messages, and we're going to skip that. But we will be creating a separate pop-up training class just for those who want it, and it will be at campuscontact.com/support or campuscontact.com/training. So that's coming up soon, and I'll be getting those on there as soon as possible. Let's move on down the list on the left-hand side and see some of the other really cool things in your website. The next one is your widgets. Some people knew them as modules in the old School Desk system. Because we're a whole new company, new product, new system, we also come up with a little bit new verbiage, and we're no longer using the word modules anymore. Now we're just calling them widgets. They're doodads or whatever you want to call them. We call them widgets. And the widgets are the what do you want to do on your page little thingies. You want to add some page or some text or an image or a slider or some icons or links or calendars or buttons or all kinds of stuff, announcements and search and lots of different things. There's a ton of different things for you to add to your website now, and they're all grouped nicely in different categories. So if you want to add social stuff and embed Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or a calendar or whatever it is you want to add to your site, you would add that from these widgets. And the easiest way to do that is simply grab one and drag it out to the page and add that to your page. This is something we'll cover this afternoon at 4 o'clock, but simply grab it, drag it out to the page, and give it an image, select an image, and then you can even resize that image, do whatever you want with it, drag and drop, move it around wherever you want, and you can easily manage your page however you want. So it's nice that you've got a lot of options. The page never has to refresh or reload. It's super fast, super easy to manage. So again, just to add widgets to the page, grab it, drag it out to the page. If you want to add different columns, there's even column widgets, 2, 3, 4 columns, so that you can add your other widgets in whatever columns you want. So it's really nice and easy to do that. So we'll talk a lot about widgets in this afternoon's training class at 4, but let's go on down our list here. We are running out of time, so let's look at the content. So your content manager now has several different options in it, and a couple of them I'd like you to take a minute to do when you get your website for the first time, and that is first click on Business Info and add your school's phone number and any primary email addresses, as well as any social media links and even your school's address. The reason for this is because once you've added this information to the website, or to this page, you can now add it automatically to the website as you're going through and adding different information. So it's just nice to take a minute one time, give your site basic business info, text, phone numbers, email addresses, other basic information, so that we can use that within the website. Below that are some other things we're going to skip for now, but we will include in additional training down the line. But at the bottom is one thing that you're going to want to use quite often, and that is your site content. This is your file manager, where you can manage images or any kind of files that you've added to your site. And again, we have another shortcut to form responses as well. So it's just another place that you can access all of the forms that have been submitted to your website. We'll talk about images real quick, and we can upload as many images to the website as you want. When you upload them, they're automatically compressed and optimized for the website. You can also create folders to manage all your all your photos. Click on Manage Images at the bottom, add a new folder, whatever you want that folder to be, and you can drag and drop the sort order. You can drag and drop files directly into it. You can drag, I think the max is 1,000 photos, I believe, at one time, and dump them right into the website. So it's extremely easy to use. There's also mobile editing on your website now. So if you're out at a football game and you take a picture of the winning touchdown, you can upload it to your website, post it on the website right there without even having to leave the sidelines. So it's really, really cool thing to be able to manage your website now from anywhere. When you upload that photo, it's going to go right into your site images area, and you can post it directly on the website. Super easy in just a couple of steps. So we'll show you how to do that. But just know that you can upload as many images as you want, and it's really, really simple to do that. The same with files. So your file manager is a little bit different in that, now this particular site, for some reason, somebody put a lot of photos in the files area, but I'm going to just do a PDF here, just so you can see all of your files are also uploaded here as well. And We don't group them into folders anymore, which I know at first sounds like a terrible, horrible, frightening thing, but it's really not, because there's an instant ability to find your files by just typing in a couple letters of that file's name. So if you want to find a specific file, you can just type a couple letters of it and it will immediately find it. And it's truly instant, and click on that file and either view it or select it to add it to your website. So it's really, really easy to do. Also, when you're uploading files, we can now manage files directly from your computer by just drag and drop them, or you can sync it with any Dropbox that you might have, or what schools are really loving is syncing it with your Google Drive. So any files that you have in your Google Drive, you can now connect that to your website, and as you add files to your Google Drive, they'll automatically be available on your website. Or if you have a file that's connected in your Google Drive, let's say a calendar or a lunch menu, and that's in your Google Drive but also posted on your website, as you change it on your end in your Google Drive, it's going to automatically be reflected with those same changes in your website. So you won't have to go back and forth to update files in your website, because you're doing it in Google Drive on your end at your school. So it's nice to be able to do that. Of course, you can also do a link to a file and embed or link to Gmail as well. So, or you can do all of them if you need to. If you've got files in lots of different places, you can link all over the place, drag and drop as many as you want, however you want to manage files. But you have a lot more flexibility and options now to manage your files. So that's all under content and site content. And from there, you can manage images, files, or again, form responses, as we talked about earlier. So you can see all your forms. A little below that, we have a personalization option that we're not going to have time to get into today, but it is a really cool thing. And I highly encourage you to take a few minutes and go play in the personalization area. It allows you to create pop-ups or scrolling messages or all kinds of fun things on your site for your users, depending on what time your users might hit the site, or from what device, or even a location, or any particular criteria that you set. You can create rules for people to see your site. So if you want it to show up at a certain time, if you want it to be viewed only based on a certain device, or whatever it may be, a specific promotion. Maybe you're going to do a notification bar because you want to put up a message that says schools closed today due to bad weather, whatever it may be. You can do that very quickly and easily by using these personalization options. So while that is a pretty in-depth class that's separate from what we're doing today, I encourage you to go in and play. On the left-hand side, click on Personalize, create a couple of these little options, these little things you want to do, and you'll see that there's a lot of really cool stuff you can do in your website. So definitely go back in here and play with that. Also below that is your school store. As I mentioned earlier, you can have a full-blown e-commerce platform built into your school website so that your school can sell whatever it is you guys are selling. Now, by default, you have only 10 products that you can sell in your store, but you may need more. And if you do, let us know. There is an option to increase it to 250 or even an unlimited number of store products. So it depends on what you guys need. What we've seen so far from most schools is that 10 products is more than enough for your average school to sell candy bars and gift wrap and candles and whatever else you guys sell. So we can add a store and manage it right here real quickly and easily. That, again, is also a separate class that we'll be doing later for you. But just know that we can do that. We'll help you set that up, and we'll do some additional training to show you how to manage your store, because it's a store. It's a e-commerce platform. So there's a bit more involved than just managing content on a page, because we've got pricing and we've got products and categories and lots of other things we can manage in your store. So if you need help with a school store, get a hold of us by going to campuscontact.com/support and reach us however you need. Schedule some training if you need to, and we'll be glad to come in and help you out and set up your new store for you. So just let us know. Below that is also your blog, where you can manage your blog. And again, just like your store, if you need help with this, let us know. But literally just click on blog, click on new post, and give it a title. Maybe you want to use a different author name, put an image there, and start typing away. So it's extremely easy to create a new, beautiful, usable blog that people can follow, they can subscribe to. You can do RSS You can submit it to the different social media platforms. Lots of different things we can do with it. So creating and managing your blog is very easy. That also is a whole separate training class that we can do for you. Again, come to campuscontact.com, click on training classes or a specific widget training. That will hopefully be done for the blog later this week, and we'll have that up there as well. So if you want to learn about the blog, come on back and do that, and we'll have lots of information about the blog for you. So finally at the bottom, we've got some settings options. And in the past, it was kind of scary to poke around in settings because you could blow up all kinds of stuff and break things. You can't break it anymore. And for most of you, you'll probably never mess with the settings, but I do want to cover that there are some things we can do in your website for settings. And so, you know, if you've got the administrative access to the settings area, feel free to come in here and customize things as you need to. So the first thing would be to manage your site icon, and that would be your favicon, or the little, in our case at the top, it's that little blue C icon. And so that's the little image that appears in a tab in a browser that people go to when they go to your site. Now this is important as well in search engines now, because if we go to Campus Contact, you'll see that Google now, whoops, not on my browser, I apologize. Google generally does show the little icons of the favicons, and I'm not sure why mine's not showing it. This is a terrible example, but Google does display favicons now in the search engine results. So it's just one thing to help your site stand out in the search engines, as well as something for you to display that little icon in your browser at the top left. If you don't want to mess with that, that's it's going to have the little double C for Campus Contact by default when your site's live. You don't ever have to mess with it. Just know it's an option. The same with your social images, social network images. You can add that here as well, that you can display it on Facebook, LinkedIn, and other social platforms. And then last is your home screen icon for your website to become an app on mobile and tablets. So this is something we'll talk about here at the very bottom of this page, what's called a progressive web app, that allows you to take your entire website and kind of compress it and make it an app that's accessible on users' devices. What's great about that is they don't have to open a browser and try to browse to the page and wait for stuff to load. Instead, they've got the entire website and all of its content accessible through an app. They simply click it, it launches on their device. All of the content is already there. They can even do it offline. They can see everything there. So if they're out of range or they've got their device turned off, whatever reason, they can still access everything in your website through the progressive web app. So that's a really nice device. And so you can set whatever the icon is going to be for their tablet or mobile device and make it whatever you want it to be. Maybe your school logo, or maybe it's the same as your favicon, whatever you want to do, but you can make that whatever you want. Next would be your site URL, and only site administrators with certain levels of access are going to see this. So if you don't see this on yours, don't worry about it. It's something we manage for you, but we can change your site URL so that it can be whatever you want it to be. So it doesn't have to be a campuscontact.com URL. It can be yourschool.com or whatever. So let us know whatever you want. You can buy a domain name at GoDaddy.com or wherever you like to buy your domain names, and let us know what that is. We'll help you set that domain up, point it to your website, and change your website to your URL instead of our URLs. Also is site SSL. Every site now gets SSL certificate automatically applied to it. And the SSL, in case you're not familiar with it, it stands for Secure Socket Layer, but it basically adds an additional layer of protection to your website. So all of our websites have that, and you can tell at the top of your browser, if you click on that little lock, and it says connection is secure. All of our websites are secure, and that not only helps from a security standpoint, but it also helps for search engine results, because Google really, really, really wants to see that sites have that additional layer of security added, and it ranks your website higher in the search engine results. For you private schools, it's going to be really important that we make sure that your sites have SSL, and all of ours do, so you'll be able to see that. So for example, if we go to the Woodward School, for example, this is one of our customers, a small private school, you'll see that their site does have the secure connection added to it, and that's going to help them out in the search engines. So it's going to be important for you to understand that we do that part for you. There's nothing you need to do for SSL. There's no additional cost. We just make that happen. Below that is the SEO, and this is at the site level for the SEO, not at the page level, but you can manage your site information that's listed in Google and other search engines. And I really, really beg and plead for you to at least do this one time at your site. When you first get your site, go to settings, go to SEO, and give your site a name and a description, and that will help it be found in the search engines. If you're not going to do it at the page level, what you can do, at least do it one time in the settings for the global, for your site overall. So give your school a name, such and such elementary school, and some basic information, and at least do that one time in the site by going to SEO and adding that information there. You don't need to do site keywords. That's not really important. Just make sure that you add the information here for your site description and site title at least once. The other two options you won't need to mess with at the bottom. Google Analytics, if you want to use Google Analytics, you can, but you certainly don't need to. Google Analytics is added, actually our own search engine information, pardon me, our own statistical analytical information is added in our websites that you can get to from the stats at your homepage or your dashboard or lots of other places that we showed you already. So if you want to use Google Analytics, just paste that Google Analytics code in here and you can do that right here. Next is a URL redirect. If you're using a URL redirects, we can build those in there. If you're not familiar with it, then you probably won't even use it. It won't really matter, but we do use URL redirects. That comes in handy if we have to change your site URL from, say, training.campuscontact.com to yourschool.com. Well, we don't want anybody to go to a broken link at the old training.campuscontact.com URL. Instead, we want them to see this one. So I'm going to pardon me for 1 second. So the other thing that we can add to your website, actually that's in your websites now, is a great, really powerful feature which is called backup site. And I'm sorry, I'm not sure why this thing isn't going away. So the backup site allows you to restore your website from any previous version. And you'll see this training website that I use has a lot of different backups in it. And every single time you hit the republish button, it's going to take a snapshot. You see, I did this a few minutes ago at 10:53, and I must have done it again or hit it twice, but it did it twice. So we've got multiple restore backups, and that allows you to roll back to any previous version of your website. So if you find that you've made a bunch of changes and you just broke your website totally, or you just can't seem to go far enough back to undo it, roll it back to any previous version that you've done and restores the website. So you can do that in just a couple of clicks. It actually is just one single click, and it will roll back your website to restore it. The other option below that, is site language, and we don't use this function anymore. It's here, but we actually use Google Translate. So instead, we're just going to use Google Translate in your website. So you don't need to use the site language. That's kind of what that was for, but it's no longer used. Below that is the privacy settings, where you can do a GDPR type notification, which is that little bar across the bottom of your site for cookie notification, or create your own privacy page where if you have a privacy policy, by default we have one here. This is kind of what it looks like. You can see it there. Or if you need to create your own, you can do that as well. You can click on Customize Privacy Page, and then you can customize it. And we have a boilerplate privacy page already created, but you can modify it as you see fit, as your school needs. But you'll see there's a lot of information there. So you could add or delete whatever you need to on our sample privacy page and add that as a link in your footer or for wherever you want people to be able to access the privacy information. So you can turn it on or turn it off. I'm going to turn it back off on our training site. Next is our 404 page, and this is just the error message page that people get when they go to your site, and maybe you created a link on your page, on a page once, and it had some information, and maybe somebody bookmarked that page, and then you went back and deleted it because maybe it was just outdated information, so it's no longer available. And if that's the case, they'll just get a page that says this, the page you're looking for can't be found, and they just simply click on the return to the home page and goes back. So a 404 page is important because you don't want people to just get an actual error. You want them to see that it's not there and have another option to get back. So all that does is just show them that, oops, sorry, that's no longer available. And you can modify that however you see fit. If you go to Google and type in 404 page error, you'll see there's a lot of really cool ones out there. There's a lot of neat stuff out there. You can see that some of the folks have gotten really creative with 404 pages. And so you can make it whatever you want it to be and set it however you want it to be, so that it can be something helpful or comical or educational, whatever you want it to be, for when people go to your website and maybe that link is no longer available. So you've got that option to modify that. And the very last is our really cool progressive web app that allows you to turn your website into an app that people can download and install on their cell phones or tablets. And so that is a really neat thing. It basically allows you to convert the entire thing into an application, so they don't have to go to a browser and search for the site. They can just click on the app, it opens, and everything in the site is right there. And as you're making changes to the website, those changes are automatically pushed to the app so that they don't have to reload it, they don't have to do anything with it. Just go back and open the app, and it will automatically display all of your changes. So you can give the app a name, and maybe a shorter name if yours is really long. You can create an icon for it, even a splash page color for it, and logo, so that when it's installed on their device, they can see it with whatever site icon you installed up here at site icon, and they just click it and launch it and see their entire website as an app. So that is really, really cool and super easy to do. So those are all of the functions on the left-hand side and all the functions across the top. So that's pretty much everything you need to know about where everything is in your new Campus Contact website. Now at 4 o'clock, we're going to have a more advanced training. We're going to talk about adding pages and columns and rows and all kinds of stuff in there. So check back at 4 p.m. Eastern time today. We'll have more information regarding designing and all that sort of stuff and building stuff out. We'll have a little bit more fun because we're going to do more of the playing with some of the different widgets and designs and colors and moving things around. So it's a bit more interactive and a lot more fun. So check back this afternoon. This video will be recorded. Actually, it is being recorded, and it will be uploaded to the website that you can get if you go to campuscontact.com/support, click on training classes, and you'll see this one will appear at the top left because it's my next one that's going to be uploaded. And you can watch this at your leisure anytime later on. So thank you very much for sitting through this with me, and I apologize so much for all of the constant background noise interruptions. But contact us anytime at campuscontact.com/support. Click the little speech bubble if you want, or any other way that you want to get a hold of us. Lots of methods to get to us. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Go build some beautiful websites. Thank you.